Hey guys, welcome back to Rochelle's Creations. So today I'm going to show you how to make some caramel apple hand pies. They're really good, they're a real treat, and I hope you guys enjoy them and make them for people in your life, your friends or family or whatever. So I hope you guys like them, and let's get started.
A cup of coffee in the morning, and I get the paper. I check the headlines and decide that I am bored. I check my email and I decide to answer later. Another cup of coffee and I drag myself to work. My life is grounded in a firm routine of coffee, sleep, and work. I am not boring, I just stick to what I know.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get our apples ready, and I'm going to use these Jazz apples, and these are from Trader Joe's. They're kind of small, and I'm also going to use a Granny Smith apple, just because that's what I have left right now. Anytime you make something with apples, like an apple pie or an apple crisp or anything like that, you want to make sure that you use a couple of different types of apples, because that's going to add a lot of different flavors, and if you leave a little bit of the skin on, it'll make it prettier and just add more flavor profiles as well. So I'm just going to wash these and prepare them. Alright, so I've peeled the apples like so. I left a little bit of the peel on. You don't have to peel them if you don't want to, but I just kind of prefer the texture of it overall when I do peel them almost all the way. But you don't have to if you don't want to. It's up to you. So I'm just going to cut these up, cut around the core like this. Try the best you can not to get any seeds. And you can just cut a little bit off if you want to get those in a minute, in a little bit. And I'm just going to cut them up. Kind of like cubing them, just like that. And the only apples you really don't want to use for this are maybe Golden Delicious or Red Delicious, because those tend to get a little mushy because they cook really fast. So you might not want to use those ones. So I recommend Granny Smith, Gala, Jazz apples, anything like that. Honey Crisp, Fuji, anything like that. So you get the idea. I'm just going to chop all these up. Ta-da! Okay, so now we're going to quickly saute the apple slices really fast, and I'm going to add just a teaspoon of this Earth Balance into a saute pan. And we're going to add lemon juice, cinnamon, and a little bit of sugar to these apples. Alright, so the Earth Balance has melted. I'm just going to throw in the 2 cups of apples. And the only reason we're sauteing these a little first is so that, you know, the dough doesn't cook all the way through before the apples do, and then you have crunchy, uncooked apples with a flaky crust, which isn't super cool. So, plus it adds a little flavor too. So we're just going to saute these a little bit. We're going to add a teaspoon or so of cinnamon and a little bit of sugar. Not too much sugar, because this is going to be a caramel apple hand pie, and caramel is really sweet, so you don't need too much. Alright, make sure you add some lemon juice. It smells so good, oh my goodness. Alright, so after these have been sauteing for about 2.5 minutes, maybe a little more, you don't want them to get soggy or anything, but you want them to be relatively cooked, just not soggy, you know. I think you guys can get that. You're just going to take them off the heat and add a little cornstarch. So I'm going to add a tablespoon and a half of cornstarch here. This is just going to thicken it up. Cornstarch dust everywhere. Alright, just mix that up, and now we're going to work on our caramel. Alright, so all you're going to need for the caramel is Earth Balance to replace the butter, some cane sugar. This is just plain old cane sugar, not the refined one. And you could use turbinado sugar. You could even use brown sugar, but it'll be a little darker. Alright, so I have the earth balance in the pan with the sugar and the creamer, which the recipe will be in the description. So this will take a couple of minutes, and if it gets a little thick and you think that it's not quite working out for you, you can just pour in a little bit more of the creamer or the milk that you're using, and it will loosen it up again. But you just want to make sure all the sugar gets dissolved. You want to get it to where it's a nice brown color, and that's when you want to take it off. I added a tiny bit of cinnamon, so you can do that, and it adds a little bit of flavor. And you want to take this off of the heat and let it cool while we make the dough. Alright, so for our dough here, I have the 2 cups of all-purpose flour. This one's from Trader Joe's. It's pretty awesome. And I added a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of sugar just to add a little more flavor. Oops, as I spill it. Okay, so I'm just going to work this in. You might want to use your hands for this, which I think I will do. That's my cat meowing in the background. Okay, so after about 4,000 years, the dough is now a dough. You just have to work with it a little bit, but it will be fine in the end, and it tastes a lot better than the one I made in my last video. So you're just going to want to roll this out on a floured work surface. Okay, back to our filling. We have the apples that we sauteed a little while ago, and this beautiful caramel sauce that's been cooling a little bit. And we're just going to pour the caramel sauce into the apple mixture and stir it all up. This is why you didn't need to sweeten the apples that much, because the caramel sauce is pretty sweet on its own. So we're just gonna stir that up, and then we're going to fill the little pies. Okay, so you want to roll out your dough, like I said, into as much of a rectangle as you can, but it's okay because you're going to be reforming it anyway. And you want to make sure that it's about 1/8 of an inch, just about 1/8 of an inch, you know, rolled out, not too thick or too thin. And we're going to cut this straight like that, just so you have a piece that is, you are able to fold over like that and press down to make the pies. So this length, you can make these as big as you want, but I think I'm going to do about 2 here. So, oh my goodness, look at this filling. Isn't that great? It smells really good. I wish you guys were here. And you're just going to take, not too much, about a couple tablespoons, 1/4 of a cup, and just place that right there. Put another layer of dough on top because there was too much filling to fold it over. So I just placed another on top, and you're just going to slice the individual pies, like kind of like a ravioli type thing. It's kind of like making ravioli, if that helps. Just get rid of the excess dough so you can use it for making the rest of the pies. And then you're just going to press down on them. Alright, so now we're just going to cut a little X so that they have room to breathe, and it will make them look prettier in the end. We're going to put them on an ungreased cookie sheet and bake them. Of course, you're going to make all of them first. Okay, so I have finished stuffing all the pies, and now they're going into the oven until they're nice and brown and crispy at 375, and I'll show you when they're done. Okay, so they've been baking for about 45 minutes. They're nice and brown. It's a little hard to see in this lighting, but they are nice and crisp. I put some on a plate, and that's what they look like. They're pretty awesome. Let me cut this one in half so you can kind of see what's going on. Ta-da! They're super good, and you can really taste the caramel, which I think is nice. So, I hope you guys like this recipe, and let me know if you have any suggestions for future videos. And thank you for watching. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.